afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, and welcome to the last session of this session, I guess. I'm very happy to see some of very few dedicated faces and excited faces to hear an amazing, and I'm sure it's going to be very inspiring dialogue with Mr. Manoj. Manoj, before we start, would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself and SoftBank and the work that you are doing?
I am a manufacturing professional for first 15, 16 years of my life, and then 20 years in telecom, and now next 20 years in solar energy. And that's because SoftBank in Japan has decided to build largest capacity of solar in the world across India, Japan, of course, Saudi Arabia, Africa, and other parts of the world. And this will be a very exciting journey which we will forge now.
It is actually a very exciting journey, and I am looking at the statistics, and if you allow me to read a little bit, because it's the targets that you are setting to India is extremely ambitious. You know, you're targeting 100 gigawatt of solar, 60 gigawatt of wind, 10 gigawatt of bioenergy, and 5 of small hydropower by 2022. This is 5-fold increase in just 7 years. And I'm sure, you know, it's not going to be a smooth sail, and I'm confident knowing how the industry and how such ambitious targets is being set that you're going to face some challenges. But I'm also confident that the country have a lot of strength that's going to help it face and overcome such challenges. So do you want to take us through what, in your opinion, some of those challenges, and how do you foresee India overcoming them with the strength and the opportunities that you guys have?
Well, I think the most important issue of India today is that India has a strong government, India has a strong democracy, India has a strong demand of 7 to 8% GDP growth rate, one of the highest in the world. And most importantly, the PM has a great vision for solar energy and renewables. So he has already taken up a target of 350 gigawatts of renewables by 2030, which will be more than 40% of the total energy requirement. Now, that's a very ambitious goal he has taken. And luckily, a lot of inputs for that goal achievement are already there. We have land, we have 650,000 square kilometers of wasteland, which can be used for solar, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need so much land for solar, but still, I'm saying you can use it. We have very strong national grid, which is coming up. Yes, it needs more strengthening, but grid is building up, is being made stronger. We have national policies, PPA, quality, which is being built up. The finance cost, unfortunately, is one area where the cost is high today compared to global cost. And I'm sure in the next 2-3 years, the finance cost in India will also come down. Because, you know, the quantum of funding for renewables is growing so fast that all the funding for fossil industry is systematically going down. So clearly, it means that cost of finance will come down. So I think we have all the basic inputs required for a large renewable target to be achieved. And there is a high degree of alignment in the country coming down from PM's vision, going down to various layers of government, industry. And foreign investors like SoftBank are very excited to invest and contribute to this vision.
Fantastic. Another interesting thing we see, which is, you know, this shift in economic power from west to east, has also created global opportunities and opening more and more opportunities to renewable markets across the globe, not specifically in the east. Why do you think this is happening? And how does SoftBank take advantage of such opportunity?
Well, I think in the last 2 sessions, it's been clearly accepted that China and India, and of course certain Asian countries in Middle East, in Southeast Asia like Indonesia, will really contribute much more to the global economy. And therefore, the future growth of next 10, 20 years will come from these regions. And therefore, the weight of the world will go eastward. It's not a statement that it will go away from West. I think it's more balancing factor. So balancing is happening after long. And I believe that because China and India have taken a leadership stance on renewables also, China has taken a rock-solid renewables target. Every year, China is doing a very good job on solar and wind targets achievement. India has taken up a massive vision. So I think the future global renewables focus is moving eastward. And I think that actually is faster than what is happening in the Western world. So clearly, I think East has to now take a leadership, will take a leadership. And SoftBank, that is why, is investing heavily into India and other countries in the region.
So speaking about your investment portfolio, you have a great, you have a huge investment portfolio, but it's very clear that you have a particular interest in renewable energy, either in deployment or electrical vehicles and storage. Which markets, in your opinion, hold the greatest opportunity for investment and why?
Well, clearly, as I said, China and India are very, very large markets. For SoftBank, India is a very large market. We have announced a target of 20 gigawatt already. For Indian market, we already have projects of more than 1 gigawatt in India, which are in progress. Our first project came up 455 megawatt, which is doing so well, is performing very well. Similarly, we have announced our 3 gigawatt project in Saudi Arabia, which is the largest single project in the world. We will definitely go into other related markets in the years to come. But clearly, I think the journey has started, and it will be a very strong focus going ahead, both in solar and as well as storage. Now, storage is one area where today, because it has been expensive in the past, I believe the solar costs have dropped about 80% in the last 5 years. Similarly, the storage costs will also decline quite rapidly in the next 5 years.
So where do you see the future of storage?
Yeah, the moment that happens, I believe that solar becoming 24/7 will be possible, along with storage. So I believe that actually is a very important goal for the world, because the world needs two important outputs. One, it should be clean energy, clean for environment. And second, it should be affordable energy, affordable for the masses, affordable for the poor of the world. And if there's 1 billion people who don't have power, they need clean and affordable power, which I think solar plus storage can give.
Fantastic. So from your, you are here with us now in Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. I'm sure it's not your first and definitely not your last visit to the region. In your opinion, how do you see, or what role you see our region is playing in the global transition towards a decarbonized economy?
No, I really am so proud to be here. I really look up to Abu Dhabi government. I think you have really been pioneers of initiating sustainability as well as renewable energy. Masdar has done an outstanding job. I think initiating this many, many years back and now reaching to a very high degree of maturity and aligning the world to this sustainability and renewable goal has been a fantastic contribution. And I see now each country here, Abu Dhabi, Saudi, and many other countries now developing solar and wind projects at very low cost. Is great because you have sunshine, you have land, and you have sand. So sunshine, land, and sand, all three will give you high quality and affordable solar to supply not only for the region but also for the world.
Thank you very much. The session is called The Final Word with Manoj. So would you give us, to the audience here, a final word?
No, the final word I want to give is what is the future of energy? I come from a land where cricket is very popular. I don't know how many of you understand cricket? Not many. Not many.
There's somebody there who's very excited.
Okay. Okay, in cricket, you know, you bowl, and if you get 3 wickets in 3 balls, which is called hat trick. Do you know that? So the hat trick is something which is very rare. Hat trick is something very big, global standard. So the hat trick of future of energy will be a combo of solar for daytime, because God has given us sunshine in the daytime, wind, and generally wind is at night. So therefore, daytime solar, nighttime wind, and both at very affordable cost because it's a natural phenomena, it's God-given. And for the gaps, you bring in storage, which is at a reasonable cost in the next 3-4 years. I'm sure storage will come down at the costs which we haven't even thought of. It'll definitely be affordable to masses of this world. So a combination, a hat trick of future energy, a hat trick of renewable energy will be solar in day, wind at night, and storage for all the gaps. There could be a gap when the cloud comes in. There could be a gap when wind drops. Whatever the gap is, maybe the gap of 2 hours a day or 5 hours a day, whatever the gap is, that gap will be fulfilled by lithium-ion storage batteries, which are also getting better in technology and affordable in terms of cost. So I believe the future of globe energy across the world will be hat trick of renewables at an affordable cost.
But we've seen today in the opening ceremony, at the award ceremony, we've seen how actually when people get engaged and they took ownership of their destiny and they engaged with the sector, this is when you see the real impact happening. So how do you see this in the work that you are going on and the work you are doing in India? How do you see the awareness among the population and the public with the importance of transitioning into renewables?
In 3 ways we see that. One, that we are taking solar into the deep rural areas.
Yes.
There are about 100,000 villages in India where there is no power, there is no connectivity. So we are taking solar into those deep villages, and I think it is changing the lives of millions of people. So that is number one. Number two is that new skills are being built. There is a new skill development mission taken up by Government of India on skills for new energy, skills for solar, skills for wind. So young boys and girls are being trained on the new skills because they don't know how solar works, how windmill has to be commissioned and erected. Those skills have to be taught. And number three, we are planning large-scale manufacturing of solar modules, large-scale manufacturing of windmills, and large-scale manufacturing of storage battery in India. So a lot of hands, again, young engineers, young diploma holders, technical colleagues will be required for running those plants. And I think so all this together is definitely making a social impact in India. And most importantly, if the pollution comes down, which I think it will, through solar, wind, as well as to electric vehicles. And SoftBank, as you know, has very large stake in Uber, in Ola in India, in Didi in China, in Grab Taxi in Southeast Asia. So we will like all these electric vehicles to really take off much faster. So all this will lead to much better environment for our next generation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a
Manoj,
lot.
and it has been a pleasure. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in appreciating Manoj.